I don't want to cause concern, but I want to tell you this week about another pandemic that's underway. It's a pandemic called Overwhelm, and I know it's hurting a lot of people out there. Let's get started. Hi, this is Simon Phillips with this week's episode of The Change Show. It's going to be all about this new pandemic, overwhelm. Overwhelm, that sense of real anxiety in the pit of your stomach when you just can't cope, when everything is getting to be too much. Well, this episode is all about identifying the signs of overwhelm so that you can stop it in its tracks, really understanding what overwhelm is. And then we're going to look at what causes overwhelm. I've got a few ideas of why this is starting to become something that so many people are struggling with right now. And then I'm going to finish up with 4 strategies that will help you overcome overwhelm. So let's get cracking. There's a lot to get through. So we all know the signs of overwhelm. It's that sense of panic when you look at your calendar and you've got something big in your diary this morning that you've completely forgotten. Because a lot of panic that we sense with overwhelm is actually driven by our own activity. And we forget all the different things that we've signed up for, that we've engaged with, that we've said we will do and we're committed to. And then we're faced with these diaries that are crammed full with so many things. Some of them we can't even remember what they are. Which leads us on to the third symptom of overwhelm, which is procrastination. You see that diary full of stuff. Your mind goes into panic mode. Where do I start? What am I supposed to do first? I think I'll just find out about that book I was interested in on Amazon. And I've got my daily tasks to do on Elevate. Brilliant app, by the way, for working out your brain as well as your body. And I must catch up on my WhatsApp messages. All of a sudden, you don't feel so overwhelmed. But you know you're procrastinating. You know you've got some things to do urgently, but you're still on your phone doing another thing. And then you catch yourself procrastinating. And then you think, I've got a massive list of things to do. And that's when you start to feel another symptom of overwhelm, which is pure helplessness. I don't know where to start. I don't know who to talk to. I don't know how I got myself in this mess. All of these really self-debilitating thoughts can really start to make you feel terrible. So what is overwhelm? Quite simply, it's having too much to do. It's piling yourself up with too many things to think about. Too many people that you're supporting, too many people that you're trying to help, too many commitments that you've made. Or do you know what? It can be just the thought that you've got a lot to do that can be overwhelming. It can be the anticipation of a big task ahead of you. So sometimes, even if your logical mind knows it's not a major thing, it can feel overwhelming if we haven't thought it through in advance and broken it down. So if you're feeling a sense of overwhelm, just recognize it's just your thoughts. You can overcome them, and that's what we're going to get onto in a few moments. But I want to pause here and consider some of the things that I feel are creating this sense of overwhelming in our society right now. So about 20 years ago, I wrote a book called Time Management 24/7, where I was predicting that we would be able, through our phones, to work 24 hours in a day if we wanted to. Now, I was trying to suggest to people that although that opportunity was available, we were going to have to think it through and work out how can we do things in a way that ensures we still have a life outside of the things that we can do with our time. So we're living in a 24/7 society. We're constantly on. If you're in and around social media, you know that you can interact with people all over the world at any time. And this brings me to the second contributor, I believe, to overwhelm. And this one's really emerged strongly in the last year as people have had to lock down, people have been furloughed, people have been asked to stay at home and socially isolate. And this one is the merging of home life and work life. Now, for some people, if you're an entrepreneur, if you're a business person, you know that actually this is normal. I'm always thinking about work when I'm at home, and I'm always thinking about home when I'm at work. It's just the way that life has to be balanced when you're an entrepreneur. However, for those of you who work in an organisation, maybe you've been used to commuting back and forth to work, having some time to yourself on that commute, having an opportunity to think, to relax, to maybe reflect on what's happened in the last day or two, both about home life and the life you're going to at work. The merging of those two things, setting up office at home, has meant that conversations have become blurred. Distinctions are hard to see. And as a result, we don't know exactly what we're supposed to focus on at any one time, because obviously a lot of these things are really important to us. So prioritization becomes more challenging. When we can't prioritize, we start to feel overwhelmed. And the third reason is all of these side hustles that we're hearing about, all of these opportunities to live amazing lives, to work in ways that we've never done before, to pick up opportunities and do things that we've always dreamed of doing. They're now accessible. But guess what? We're back to that same problem. These are things I've always wanted to do, but now I could do them all at once if I chose to. Just letting that siren go past. But they're not just opportunities to make money, are they? They're opportunities to help people. They're opportunities to support the causes that we care about. They're opportunities to do more things, to be in more places, to have more things that can interrupt our focused days. So I believe all of these things are contributing to this sense of overwhelm, this pandemic, as I see it, happening everywhere. So many people contact me through social media these days saying, how do I do it all? How can I prioritize? I don't know where to start. All of these phrases are to do and linked intimately with overwhelm. So let's tear that apart and think about 4 strategies that are going to help us overcome this terrible state of overwhelm. So are you with me? If you're with me, click the like button, share this with your friends, and let's get these 4 strategies out there as far as possible. So the first one is linked to that book right there, The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. Getting rooted in the now is the first strategy. If we do that, our sense of focus goes through the roof, and we're only ever worried about the next task. Having that ability to focus here means that we're not distracted by everything else that's happening. We're only worried about what's in front of us right now and what's next on our list. So we do this one, and then we look at the next task and the next task. That first strategy is priceless. If you haven't read this book, by the way, go grab it. I'll put a link in the notes below. Amazing book. It will really help you with so many things, but particularly when it comes to overcoming overwhelm. The second strategy is to block time out. Grab your phone, open up the calendar, look for an hour or a 2-hour slot, put in a blank event, and start putting in a mini list of 2, maximum 3 things you're going to do in that specific amount of time. Blocking time in this way helps us focus, taps into the power of now, and gives us real energy because we know it's only a 2-hour task. It's amazing how much of a dent you can make in your big projects when you block time out in this way. And the third strategy, I like to call it breathe, but it's more than breathing. It's about getting out in the fresh air. It's about breathing in the summer air, which in Britain means you get really wet. But it doesn't matter. You're going to breathe that in. You're going to enjoy being in nature, even if that's just walking down your local streets. You're going to exercise. You're going to get the body moving, because when we get the body moving, the brain works in different ways. We remember things. We put things into perspective. We start to recognize where things might be out of balance in our lives. So breathing in life is what the third strategy is all about. It's about making time to think. And talking about thinking, the fourth strategy is get yourself a coach. I don't care who it is. I don't care if they're fully qualified. I just want you to get yourself in front of someone who cares about you and the results that you're achieving and is willing to question the way you're doing it. A coach will help you structure your thinking. They will help you reflect on the way that you're doing things right now. And they'll help you create strategies so that you can, one step at a time, overcome this sense of overwhelm. So there you go, 4 strategies to overcome overwhelm. Let me know how you get on, which one really works for you as you get started on this mission to make your life feel more energized, more vibrant, and less panic-stricken. I'll be back next week. Until then, take care.